All right, we're back. Minor technical difficulty, but we got it resolved, so we are good to go. So, welcome to our second AMA of the day with Pervy Sage slash Workhorse slash Ian.
Yo,
I told you I'm bringing it back. It's such a good name. We can't let it die.
you get peer pressured into putting my name back to your Sage.
That's my goal, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it works. But really excited to be here in person. I'm actually sitting next to him.
That's true.
Which is pretty freaking cool. I'm not gonna lie. So we're coming at you live from one of the rooms in Wisdom Studios. Which room is this actually?
This is the MNVL room. MNVL is the high school esports initiative that Wisdom does, which is absolutely bitchin'. And we're also doing college stuff soon. So that's pretty cool.
Might have to re-enroll.
Yeah.
Is it Minnesota Varsity League?
Minnesota Varsity League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
For now.
Soon to be worldwide.
Yep.
So yeah, we're really excited to be here and looking forward to getting going. And so we are going to hit the first question and just roll into it and see what new information we can trick Ian into giving us.
Yeah, I'm really gullible today, so there's some good opportunities, I think.
The first question comes to us from Maddie Pesk. What is the basic attack formula?
Matty P. Esquire. I can't answer that one just yet. That is one that Hubert would like to save until later. But the reality is it's probably a juicer and will require a blog post with like some diagrams and some whiteboarding and maybe some hand gestures. So that one is in the pipeline. I really would like everyone to see that soon. Soon, Tia? Not today though.
I like how you actually pronounce his name right. I've just started calling him Matty Pesk. Like, it's close enough.
It's fun to say Pesk.
It is. It's like you're almost calling him a pest, but not quite. So it's perfect. Love you, Maddie. Anyway, so our next question comes from Kurt. Looking more interested in PvE than PvP. Something like Octopath Traveler, Pixel 2D, 3D World Art. More of a strategy-based, less skill-based type of PvE, and wondering if we're building anything like that now or in the future.
Kurt, that's an awesome question. And I also see a +1 from I Know Kung Fu. First of all, Octopath Traveler is a dope game. I'm a big fan. And I do enjoy that you wrote, what year do we plan to have something like this? Which is the right question to ask because Octopath Traveler is a beautiful game that took a long time to make. The reality is that it will not be immediate. We need PvP to exist, but one of the things to note with PvP is that building it is building the platform for everything else. So once it exists, once it's out there, and once we are essentially happy with where it's at, and we've received oodles and oodles of feedback from the community and made it a shiny coin that everyone likes to flip, at that point we can start really building out what PvE looks like. I am insanely excited for PvE. I want dungeons, I want raids, I want everything. So that will be an initiative that will be discussed, in the not too distant future as to what that looks like. But just know that that is a high priority for me, and it's a high priority for the rest of the team.
Yeah. No, I'm also I'm so much more of a PvE person. I love dungeon crawls. I always have. That's always,
Yeah.
I played a lot of first person shooters, but every Halo game I played through the entire campaign on all the different modes of difficulty, Destiny with Crucible, but also with the dungeon raids. I'm a huge dungeon fan, so I'm really looking forward to that myself as well.
Eternal asked off of that in Discord chat, I'm guessing PvP and PvE will be balanced different in terms of skill damage. Our intent is actually to have PvP and PvE have completely crossover skills. So what you have in PvP is what you bring to PvE instances as well. So we're trying to do that. So everything that you see today from all the classes, all the codexes that are out there, that is the kit that you would bring to PvE as well. So there's going to be some wild balancing times there, but that is the goal.
Just make a giant monster that murders everybody. You know what? Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Let's just build Dark Souls. Just completely unbeatable.
I feel like people would really be into that.
Right. Drive people into the ground, unbeatable misery.
Let's just be bummed out. And
I hope you like to lose. Speaking of codexes, our next question comes from I Know Kung Fu. Are all classes, basic, advanced, etc., going to have the same codex structure in the skill point system?
So Kung Fu, can I call you Kung Fu, first of all? Second of all, let's connect, because I love what you're building out and I want to help make it as complete as you would like it to be. So I can provide any tips or secrets to help get you there. But the answer to your question actually is they're all the same.
If you call him Kung Fu, does that mean that you know Kung Fu?
I loved that joke like a lot. It was really good.
Thank you. I felt good about it.
You didn't laugh, but you got like a respect.
Yes.
That's
what I'm here for. So we have another question from I Know Kung Fu. Is there health/mana regeneration during combat? Let's start there, actually, because this question's a couple parts. So let's start there.
So the answer is no. The only way to get health back is through potions or heals currently, or lifesteal. And mana regeneration, the only way to get mana is through potions. This is something that we've discussed in terms of the permanence of it after battle, and that is a little bit TBD. We may actually make that be a different thing between PvP and PvE, but that is a little bit TBD. But for the current build of what PvP is, there is no regeneration in battle. You must do something to regain those two parameters.
Very nice. I think that did cover each part. Yes. Yeah, so good deal. I did get DM'd a quick question from Raph. He said the key card that he stole off Aiden isn't working right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I wanted to know if somebody could get the door for him. See. All right. So next question, aside from no, if you're outside, you're stuck outside. So this is another one from Kung Fu. It is also a few parts, so we'll go through all of it. So that we know that the weapon will determine the range of the attack, 1, 2, or 3.
Mm-hmm.
How is it determined if the basic attack is ranged or not? Is it only the weapon, or are there weapons that can do both ranged and melee, depending on how you use them?
Well, so melee in my mind is you walk up to somebody and you hit them with the physical object, the sword is right in the face. Ranged is I'm back here and I have launched a projectile of some form, be it magic or physical, to do the damage. So there are several abilities from melee classes. I know that we've been teasing Thief a little bit, but Thief has an ability that allows them to walk through the enemy team to hit a backline hero. And the price you pay to do that for what would normally be a ranged 1 attack from a Thief, stabby, you channel to weave your way through, and then after your channel you get to pop the backliner. That is how we sort of solve that, how does a melee do backline damage? That being said, there are abilities, skills like that will apply in several classes or subclasses that allow you to kind of commit those moves. When it comes to something like, let's say you have a Knight Archer. Knight and Archer both have obviously very different skill sets, and they have different ranges based upon the weaponry. Weapon defines the range for the most part, unless the skill overrides it. But let's say that you're a Knight, and for whatever reason, you guys had just completely destroyed the priest in the back line, and they're one shot, 15 HP left. If you have a Knight Archer, you can swap to a different weapon set of your subclass and arrow them. Could be really bad because Knights are probably going to be really terrible at archery. Yeah. But if it's that final 15 HP to get it done, you get it done. Yep. And that one might have been too spicy of an alpha. I don't know if Hubert approves of this one. But,
no, he's not here.
But that is a thing that can be done. So there's some flexibility there. Yeah, wow. Oh, no.
Chat, I think that might have been a little spicy, but that's okay. Kung Fu's really excited to connect with you, though, so that's good.
Yeah.
There was a question real quick. there, this one. Would classes or mobs or that kind of thing, like, would there be weaknesses?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
The cool thing about monsters and mobs is there's going to be a lot of room to play. And so having certain type of weaponry, having certain type of skills and spells, weaknesses that those monsters can have can definitely be taken advantage of. So yeah, the answer is that.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. As another follow-up from chat, which actually is a good question if you're willing to answer it. So in the warrior archer scenario, we have confirmed previously that when PvP first releases prior to equipment, heroes will have kind of an automatic basic weapon based on their class.
Yeah.
So would the warrior archer example, would they have both a sword and a bow automatically as their basic equipment?
A really terrible base level version of it. Yeah. And part of the fun is the grind to get better weaponry for both your main and sub.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a firm believer that the dungeons that can drop the best stuff, like obviously way later, once we have PvE and we start dropping like really high quality loot, those should be the same dungeons that have a chance of killing your hero, like permadeath.
I just don't think we're gonna do that, man.
I don't think we are either, but it makes me sad. I want heroes.
Prior to this AMA, we're sitting here and just waiting, and Bolin's like, okay, so what if Thief has an ability, right? Okay. 1 in a gajillion chance you drain the other person's wallet completely. Like, oh shit.
It's the smallest chance possible. But you just get everything from their own. All of it just transfers. I think it would be great. And this is why they don't let me decide this. All right, so back to this question. So warriors, for example, have a skill with passive splash damage that hits P2.
Yep.
Is the splash damage in P2 still considered melee damage?
Because it's your sword doing I'm swinging it right now in my brain.
Right.
Yeah,
and
so that will be melee
that it hits them.
Yep.
It's a big sword.
Yeah.
So far we have 2 categories: single target and AoE. When a damaging attack skill is considered melee or ranged attack. Wait, what? Okay, go ahead.
When a damaging attack skill is considered melee or ranged attack for active and passive skills. Okay, riposte and archers reflect passive skill through 7. I don't think there's a quit. Oh, did I miss this? I'm misunderstanding it.
I know Kung Fu. Raise your hand. Come on stage. we need you live.
You're trying to figure out which one. Yeah, I'm confused by the question. I would like to answer it though.
I
feel like there's a good. I think there's a good question.
Kung Fu, are you out there?
AoE splash damage, is it considered ranged or melee attack? It depends on the origin. Because, for instance, like the Berserker can swirl in and deal AoE melee damage to everybody, whereas the Archer can launch arrows in the sky that fall and land on everybody ranged. So it'll be contingent on the skill. Okay. I hope I'm answering that question. If not, tag me in chat and I'll try to answer it in the PvP Discord later.
Yeah, for sure. Will pure classes have something else than just the 8-tier skill, the 15 skill cost or 15 cost skill, that one, like equipment or sets that can only be equipped by those with pure classes?
Myri, no, the 15 is good enough. The 15 skills is a powerful tool and benefit. At this point, we don't want to give them any more cookies in the cookie jar.
Look, people support me on permadeath.
Was that Ben? Of course it was.
Of course it was. I'm just saying, like, things should have the way. I wanted our bridge to have like a minuscule percent chance. I
would never bridge. I would never bridge. Okay, there's some more stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch in chat.
Would weapon swapping be possible between PvP fights? I'm just trying to picture how this will work in PvP, or if the weapon type you can use is fixed to your main.
Like, does it lock in?
So every class can use certain types of weaponry. And this isn't really a weapon AMA. Like, this definitely is one that Hubert should be here for this one. But and so your main class allows you to unlock X number of weapons, and then your subclass also. And so you have access to those only, and those can be swapped. Like you enter battle with one main class set, one subclass set, and that's what you have for battle. After the battle ends, go ahead and swap a risky,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I think weaponry probably is a whole AMA on its own.
Oh, it definitely is.
And that one should have the Hubert present.
It definitely is a whole AMA on its own.
Yeah.
So let's see. There's another one about will heroes change in appearance depending on equipment and weaponry.
That one is not my yes.
I would say we want it to. That may be a little farther out. We need the functionality first, but that is something that I would say confidently we do want to have.
I mean, if my sword is like a flaming, crazy dragon powered zoom smasher, it needs to be on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We seem to have mostly caught up on chat, so we're going to go back to our.
I appreciate the all caps bold italicizes from Wowie.
All right, let's see, where were we? Here we were. All right, combat inventory. Is the inventory in combat shared between each hero or between heroes, or each hero have their stockpile of potions?
So this is still I'm unable to tell you that one's still secret. We've gone down the path on a bajillion different options, all of which were degrees of Dark Souls for sure. However, that's going to be like a soon one. Like we want to be releasing that, getting that to you guys pretty dang soon. So sit tight.
Nice. The next question is any insight into what the rewards will be like for PvP, raffles, tokens, mats, etc. I think that's probably more of a DFK question.
Yes, that is not me, but there will be rewards.
Yeah, I would say you throw it on the question board for our AMA next week. I will hit Hubert with it. I would not expect to get a whole lot of information yet, though. I think that's still pretty being determined at the moment, but I'm all for putting him on the spot and seeing if he'll give us any info, because I don't have any info. So let's see if we can get some.
I like how they keep you in the dark so that you have plausible deniability.
No, I love it. I much prefer don't tell me things that I might be able to leak unless they're really interesting things and that I want to know anyway. So it's very it's balance of how much do I want to know. So they know better than to trust me that much. It's been dropped a few times that some of the combat systems will be quite intricate. That's you can say that. Yeah. Yep. Will there be any sort of test dummy setup?
Yes.
Practice.
Yes. Mike Hamilton, great question. Get out of my head. Yes, there will be a mode. I think they're just fundamentally, this game is so complicated that there needs to be a no stakes free way to just go, what does this do? How does this work? That needs to happen. So yes, the answer is yes.
Nice. Let's see. So we're gonna get into some fun hypothetical stuff for a second. In the ADFK interview, it was mentioned that there would be multiple types of PvP. Anything that you would like to share in terms of?
How did you just riff that? That's not even up here.
Yeah,
how did you? Oh, nice.
See,
I'm just a pro.
When they submit short questions, I can see it in the preview. Then there's other questions that not a chance.
All right. So multiple types of PvP. So
don't take any of this seriously. This is all speculation.
Oh yeah. So this answer is an answer.
Yeah.
There will be more stuff over time outside of 3v3. There is a large appetite to do that. We will start, like I said before, this is kind of a similar answer to the PvE question of when dungeons. It's once we nail PvP and everybody in the community and everybody internally is okay, we did it. Okay, it's good. That's when we can start iterating off of it. And I know there's a lot of appetite for more heroes on each side. So, are we doing a 5v5 or 9v9 or whatever? Or are we doing a 1v1? That could be really fun. Notice I'm not committing to any of this. I'm just saying this is stuff that we've talked about and it could be cool to do. Furthermore, I mean, like low key, I made a joke about the only way we can defeat pouring is by doing a battle royale where all 99 of us gang up on them.
Everyone else in the community joins against pouring.
So like that would be a really fun thing to do. And once we build the framework for these sorts of things, that could be a fun. I mean, nothing's ever easy to make, but that seems like once we have our framework established, it could be like a lower lift kind of fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And what's another one that would be really fun?
80 versus 80.
80. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bring your battalion.
Someday we'll do battlegrounds. I don't know. One last one that I really want to do, and the technology might require a little bit of invention. But
we do.
But honestly, entering into dungeons with friends.
Yeah.
So like you'll tank, I'll heal,
Yes.
and we'll grab Risen who will beat DPS, and we literally run dungeons together, or PvP mode where each of you just has one person.
Let's go. World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it'd be a lot of fun to do it that way, and it could be a little bit less exciting because you only have the one that you have to worry about, but I think the camaraderie team element would be really fun.
Oh, no, that would be awesome to do. Let's see. Will you be holding a short closed beta for gathering last minute balancing data and testing server load?
Oh yeah. So yes. So what we have to do is set up a system where there's essentially a test net for internal teams to work and develop. We've already spilled the beans that there is a testnet version that exists now for an internal test server. Then someday we will move to a public test room. So essentially, Ninja is done. Okay, so we'll do Ninja in our internal testnet. We're all excited about it. Cool, it looks pretty good. Maybe this one ability is a little busted, but we'll see how the community reacts. We drop it into a public test realm. Everybody can play it. Everybody would have to understand that when you're in it, none of it matters. It's all probably totally not good and wild. But every time you play, every time you kill something or give us data, we then can take that back. We'll provide opportunities for feedback and whatnot. And then we take that back, reapply it in testnet, kind of loop it again. And then once something is fully baked, then we would move it to the actual game. So we're going to develop sort of a process like that. So I can imagine there might be at least one or two of you that would be into working, giving us free labor, telling us that this is busted or this isn't good enough or whatever. And you can, firsthand see how good Monk is. And then, and then it would move to the actual game.
Yeah. I think it would be safe to say, without saying too much, that in terms of open versus closed, we are actually going towards more open testing.
I think
we want volume. We want people.
Yeah.
We want y'all to come and see what it's like and give us that feedback and find out what's broken and what's not.
We had a good exchange on Monday where we let a couple of folks take a look at where things are at right now, and that response encouraged us, I think, to maybe open up the doors earlier than normally I would be comfortable with. So you guys may gain access to the game before it's a game, the game before it's whatever, just so that we can start farming good information. Because I've said this a handful of times, but like this game is only going to be as cool as everyone who contributes to it, and the game becomes cooler when all 91 of you are contributing to it as well, because that just gives us more to pull from. So if that is interesting, we do want to hear that. We do want to know if like you would get it that like this isn't the game, but it is helping make the game. Then that is something that we'd be open to exploring and figuring out, and
with the understanding
that it isn't the game,
right?
But it's the thing.
The game.
Yeah.
Like, there definitely has to be some give and take here. Yeah. The feedback that we're looking for is not this isn't the game. Yeah. We know that.
Because the spicy nugget is that yeah, I've said this a bajillion times. I'm going to keep saying this just so that everyone has a higher chance of hearing it. But like, this games take a long time to make, and this game in particular is the wild one. So it will take a long time. However, if the community wants to be a part of it more, there are ways to do it. And normally when making a game of this caliber, we wouldn't show anything until it's practically done. And so, but you know, we're in the crypto world and we're in the DFK land. And if that's something that people want, then, you know, tell us. At me on Twitter.
Awesome. So we want. Yes, I love it. So another question from Wowie that was definitely too long to just read from the preview, no matter what lies he tries to spread in chat. In basically every game that has matchmaking, basically the summary of this question is Wowie plays League of Legends, which I'm all for. So Elo ratings.
This might not be League of Legends. The way how Elo, I mean, the Shadow Elo,
that's
could
true.
be League of Legends.
Yeah. So anyway, a Elo.
So yeah.
System, yeah.
I love chess Elo. That's how my brain works. But we do have McIntyre coming in here to work on the competitive and ranked play in game. That is in the works now. So I don't have like a concrete answer for you. But what I will say is, chess Elo is dope, and that is the way that I'm going to encourage everyone to go. I probably get shot down, but we'll see what happens. In terms of Shadow Elo, we do have one cooking. It's called Wowie Elo, and it's only for Wowie's OX. So everybody else, you're totally fine. Season to season, you get a little reboot. But Wowie, we're going to keep him in gold, and he'll never leave.
And then the second part of the question is using like lower levels or less impactful teams just to have fun. Plans for like casual matches outside of.
This is part of the modes. You know, there will be versions of 3v3 that will allow you to explore, speculate, try some stuff out, do some weird wibbly wobbly timey-wimey shit, and just see what happens with low stakes or no stakes. That definitely will exist. Although, to be frank, we're driving towards competitive play really early, but a version of a low stakes version would be good for us to spend some time on with the community so that we can do that before we enter any kind of preseason kind of thing.
Absolutely. I think we should actually just hard code it so that Wowie only gets matched against Pouring.
Yes,
like Pouring
that works.
Play other people, but Wowie only gets matched into Pouring.
I think that makes sense.
So the next question, I don't think we can answer at all. It says, "How are you?" How are you, bud? Actually,
I'm pretty sorry.
Hope you're cool beans. But I don't know who would dare to ask this question. Actually, who did? Let's find out.
It was Wowie. There's no way he. Yeah.
Typical. We're busy. That's what we're doing. Oh, there's Katie again. That's Katie from Wisdom. I'll share her Twitter and all that later for you guys.
Oh my God.
She helped organize our visit and has been very crucial as my point of contact. So everybody should feel bad for her because she's had to deal with me. But she has just been like hard refused. I won't do a podcast or anything. So it made me laugh that she had to leave the room, which meant she had to go on camera. Anyway, back to our purpose. So we have a couple of questions on toxic, which I think would be good to take a couple minutes on. So the first one is, does the advanced genetic trait toxic have a chance to poison the opponent every hit, or does it automatically hit every time the hero hits?
Yeah, so toxic needs to be, we need to like publish an update with like better wording because it's confusing as it currently stands, but the intent is, I think, so toxic applies basically a 2% damage over time debuff that then stacks. And so our explanation of like has a 2% chance to apply toxic isn't correct. It needs to be flipped. This was in the before times. I think we launched this on Christmas Day.
Yeah, literally Christmas
so we
Day.
were bad at communicating these things. So there will be a chance to apply a poison that is higher than 2%, and we'll get that out there pretty soon.
Yeah. So just to summarize, what currently says there's a 2% chance to apply poison it's not a 2% chance. There's a different chance to apply poison, and then the poison is 2%. And what that chance is, we have not said yet.
It's a mystery for now.
But
could be 3. Could be 3%.
Maybe it's 1.
Could be 1 to really just nerf it into the ground.
And just to clarify, the whatever chance there is of it applying poison, does the hit have to go through?
Yes.
Okay. So
we just discussed this recently. Let me get back to you guys on that part.
All right.
This is probably a toxic blog post where I'm really super aggro and toxic at talking about toxic.
I like it. Yeah. Make a toxic post about toxic. Yes. So we'll get back to you on if you have to land the hit or not. That will be updated later. Let's see. Release schedule. No. And of course it's WoWy.
To keep up with the Q1-2 goal of PvP, it seems as though the team will be starting with the base. Okay.
It's that question. So basically the question's asking if we're thinking about doing only basic classes and then doing like weekly updates from there to keep more classes coming in, and what we're kind of anticipating as a post-launch update schedule.
We're literally working on that strategy now. So I don't know when we're going to be allowed to talk about the rollout, but we're working on what the rollout is currently. There will be heroes and there will be patches.
Yeah, that sounds right. I like it. There will be balance. And as always, don't ape into blatantly broken mechanics.
Yes, there will be balances. Yeah.
Let's see. We're actually going to come back to this question. This is our last question. I like that one. We're saving it. So when can we expect to see the first PvP, even if it's in beta?
Okay, so this is so KP, you're tapping into kind of what we're driving at, which is like, I think it's good to have a sense from the community if they want to see stuff before it's like a game. And so I mean, chat looks like yes. But I think it's something that is worth discussing because like it's hard. Like when you release something that's early, everyone's expectations are going to be wild because if they're presented with something that isn't a complete product, they're going to be like, oh, I got skamazed or something. And the reality is, no, you're just getting to see it before normally you would ever get to see it. And so the question is, are people cool with that? And are people going to freak out or not? So when do we get to see that stuff? I guess it's a little bit up to you guys telling us if that's something you are okay with. Because as soon as that bell is rung, we can't unring it. And that first impression is made. But over time, we just stack on improvements and you are all coming along with us as we do it. And I get to publish cool patch notes, blogs every week or whatever. And, you know, that'd be cool.
Christian said, please now.
Please now. Okay, cool. All right. See, Christian, you're saying no freaking out, please now, just beta. This would be before beta.
Yeah, no,
this is not even beta.
Yeah, this is straight alpha.
Yeah, this is pre.
This is pre-alpha. This is rough but purpose serving.
Yeah.
Let's see. So next question: does the hero level affect combat in ways other than the growth of stats, MP, HP, and skills? Talked about rarity balance in PvP. So like would a level 5 with a good strategy be able to beat a level 10 with a push?
Okay, so the way the heroes themselves and the cards, how they scale, it's kind of impossible to have a 5 and a 10. Like just the way those are designed and are like the pre-existing system, that is just going to be really hard to do. It's possible that if you're 5 leveled incredibly well and you're 10 and the opponent's 10 leveled terribly, perhaps, but just naturally that 10 is going to have a lot more HP than the 5. That being said, that's one of the reasons why this is 3v3 and not 1v1, because 3v3 maybe your 5 can beat a 10 if you also have a 12 and a 3 on your team or something like that. Finding a way to function within a salary cap to like battle each other. When it comes to 1v1s, I mean, I think the only way we could do that is to have straight up level parity.
Yeah.
So you need bigger numbers, be better, And so the 10 will just have 5 more levels and 2 opportunities for a big juicer, 5 and 10. So the odds would not be good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like the ability system in itself just kind of lends to that, right?
And how skills work, like, there's strength and dex and agility and,
Right.
8 others that all tie into what you get when you deploy a skill, an attack. And as a result, it's only as powerful as the numbers you inject it with.
And that's where I'll be curious to see how it all feels as we go farther and farther, because I feel like that will change a little bit in higher levels where that gap won't be as significant.
Yeah.
But, using their example of like a 5 versus a 10. Okay, so if you're at level 5, you've only gotten 2 abilities. You've gotten a 1 cost and a 2 cost. That's all you can afford. Maybe you threw one into a subclass and got a 3rd, but like probably not. Whereas if you're at level 10, you've already gotten what, 4? Yeah, you should.
At that point,
4.
You should have
1, 2, 3, and 4.
I mean, you could have more than that.
You go right, but you have at least 4.
You literally have access to more powerful spells. And those spells just get better as the higher you go.
Yeah, and whereas I think, if we look later down the road at like even something like a level 50 versus a level 60, odds are that level 60 is still going to have better stats, but they've both gotten farther into the ability tree side, and there's so much RNG that's taken place that they may not be as unbalanced, or not as unbalanced, but as far off. Whereas like a 5 to a 10, I mean, you would have had to nail some really good rolls on that 5 and had really bad ones on that 10 for it to be comparable.
And that has informed a lot of, as we've gotten deeper into it, there's been some decision making changes, some philosophy changes. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but once we released a magic user, we moved passives to tier 2 because we realized if you're level 1 or 2, you don't get to do anything.
Yeah.
You just, here's my basic attack, but I have more wisdom.
Yeah.
So deal with that. So we're going to approach that differently moving forward, and retroactively, we're going to have to shake things up with a couple classes where right away at level 1, you have something to do. You have a button to push. And then you can kind of wiggle your way into the type of gameplay you want for that class. But it's 50 versus 60. Definitely there's greater parity, easier parity there. 5 to 10 is just sort of tough.
Yeah.
And so those lower levels, the gaps will be more noticeable. So we're trying our best to make sure that's mitigated, but I encourage everyone to
level your heroes. All right. So one last question, and then we're going to take our fun ending question. Oops, wrong screen. There we go. Will there be one-use items like scrolls for combat? Oh man, this is actually a few parts. This is so good. I'm so excited about this one, and it came in while we were talking, so I haven't seen it. So let's start at the beginning. Will there be one-use items like scrolls for combat? And if so, will they be open to all classes?
We haven't gotten scrolls yet. I've talked about scrolls a lot. So put a pin in that one. Ask again in the next AMA, because that's a cool thing. There's so many juicy things around that topic, man. I can't tell you any of it, but there's some cool things.
We're working on. They're working.
Will equipment be restricted by class, stats, level, or all 3? So, as I mentioned earlier, for sure, class. There will be certain weapons each individual class can use, and they will overlap with each other on how they work and whatnot.
Kind of like a D&D setup.
Yep. And some can use both one hand and 2 hands. Some can't. So you'll see when we get there. In terms of how the restriction comes from stats, you have to be able to equip something. So there are strength thresholds that are a part of this. However, you also need to consider that you can equip pretty much any weapon, but if you don't meet the dex requirement or the focus requirement, when casting those, using it, you'll just be bad at it. You'll just miss a lot, which is kind of exciting in an interesting way. Like, let's just say it's the 50 versus 60. The 60 hero is carrying a weapon that they have they guarantee 100% accuracy. So they're actually using a much lower level weapon with much less base damage, but it guarantees the hit. Your steady eddies are gonna love that shit. But then your Tommy,
toxic.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that. But then you got Tommy at level 50 somehow punching at an MMR of level 60 heroes because he shows up with his one-hit monster bongo blaster that he doesn't hit ever, but once he does, you're dead.
Yep.
Like, 14% accuracy and then just explodes, and then otherwise he's just missing.
I'm Tommy.
That's me. You're Tommy. So like those things, those are parameters to consider, but those things will be made clear way ahead of time, and there will be many a blog posts to break that down so you guys can make some informed decisions on your strategies.
I would I'm definitely the high risk, high reward player.
Yeah, you're a wild man.
I'm taking the gamble every time. So there was a follow-up question about focus.
Oh, focus is the magical accuracy. So if you are a wizard, you are using Dex plus wisdom in order to deploy an attack, and that's what we call focus. The combo of those two together is focus. Whereas if you're using a physical ranged weapon, that would be, or a physical weapon, that would be just dexterity.
Awesome. Because I don't think we had mentioned focus yet. So wait, we might have.
No, we totally did. Chat. Did we?
They started asking. Yeah.
That's new.
Apparently.
No. Hubert's totally talked about it in AMA.
Yeah, I just don't think we called it focus. I think we've definitely talked about it. I just don't think we ever named it. But that's fine. We'll just rename it again, and then people will be confused and we win. So, all right, we're gonna do one last question, and this one I'm super excited for because it's just off the wall, free form for us. Although now I've realized that WoWE submitted it, and I feel like I've oversold it and given them too much credit. But this is a really good question. So we still have 4 more basic, 2 more advanced, an elite, and an exalted class yet to come. Are you hoping for any particular future class? And for some reason, Chef is an option. I'm not clear on that one. But
Chef is pretty cool. That would be a fun class.
Yes, and a transcendent class.
So I'm gonna bring up this Google Doc so that only Bolin can see it. None of you can see it. But I actually have a wish list of classes that I would love to see. None of these are real or approved. You can't hold me or Hubert to any of them. I'm worried right now. Hubert's upstairs watching this going, oh my God.
I'm waiting for the lights to come.
I don't think he's texted me yet, so I think
he went and found the circuit breaker and he's about to start flipping stuff. Get them offline.
But I would love to see cool shit that kind of lives in the universe already. I think Shaman would be cool. I think Geomancer would be cool. I have a crossover issue in terms of class and race. I want Fae to exist, but that's actually just a race. That's not a class.
I have that same issue though. And I don't want to introduce races because how even freaking would we at this point?
Yeah.
But also I want races.
Yeah.
So, it's a really hard balance to hit there.
Stronghold, what's a Geomancer? Think of Earthbender from Avatar. If you guys have ever watched that delightful show.
TV show, not a movie.
Yeah. I think it would be fun to see, something like a Beastmaster or maybe even a Necromancer. Those would be cool things. I mean, everyone knows that we're all big Final Fantasy fans. Right. We're all big WoW fans. So pulling some inspiration from those classes. I think Spellbow was an absolutely lit idea. Mm-hmm. That was super awesome. And I think, that's a really good spin on that type of class. And so I think looking for those kind of opportunities of this behaves like a class you love but has its own little DFK twist to make it more hours, right?
I think Necromancer would make me so happy that. It would be so imagining what kind of skill codex y'all would build for Necromancer just brings me joy.
Yeah.
So big fan of that. I'm also a big fan of Beastmaster though. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's just a really fun class, kind of druidy, and you bring in wolves to fight for you.
That would be super neat.
That's a class style that I play. Yeah. In other games. Yeah. That's absolutely a class style that I play. I'm a really big fan of that too. What did Ogre say? Yep.
Maybe once a hero reaches level 50, he has 3 choices for specialization, where they could adopt an advanced class like Beastmaster or Ronin. That would be Final Fantasy 14 has a similar approach, which I thought was pretty neat, where you're sort of your job evolved once you hit level 30. I don't know if we fundamentally have the infrastructure to do that on the hero cards themselves, but it's sort of striking that flavor in the skill codexes, because by the time you get through introductory magic through tiers 1 through 5, you kind of find your identity of who you are, and that's kind of how you do that. And those 3 disciplines really guide your class flavor. So maybe it already kind of exists, but maybe it's not exactly how you're maybe thinking. I don't know. We could talk more about that one.
Chat has a really good point. Beastmaster and pets.
I
There
mean,
could be some really cool interactions there.
It just writes itself at this point.
Maybe you can steal the other player's pets just for the battle, not permanently.
Oh,
or permanently.
Yeah.
I'm cool for that too. But even not permanently.
Would you guys be interested in a Blub Master? So it's actually not a Beastmaster. You just have various varieties of blubs.
But you have to throw them. They need to be projectiles, like Flubber.
Or like that one kid from My Hero Academia, where he takes off his purple and just throws it. Yeah.
It's like the like really bad mobile shooting games where like you have to like bounce the ball.
Yes, yeah.
Blub Master. You actually get to aim the blub, and the more bounces it does before it hits your opponent, the more damage it does.
Okay, hold on. How can I write this? How does it work? So what we could do, right? Oh, that sounds like a mini game.
It does.
That feels like that would be really fun.
I've been trying to get one of these folks to build a Pokemon Snap with DFK pets.
Yeah, can one of you guys just do that?
Like for real.
Just like real quick, just throw that one together.
I'm sure it's not that hard.
Yeah. I'll take a look at the game if you want.
I'm just saying, I'm handing out $1 million ideas here.
$1 million ideas.
So, whatever. Oh, wait, here's the chef ability from WoWie.
Kitchen boss, passive. You're a veteran of the cooking arts and gain the following better. You're writing it like I fucking write it. While channeling, you gain X interrupt resistances. Whenever taking damage, the attacker gets burned. It takes X fire damage. Wizard synergy already. I like it.
I'm just going to throw it out there. If we have a class that's called the chef, it has to be themed like Gordon Ramsay. And so, mid battle, it's just calling people a cow,
like shit sandwich,
and are you a donkey, and like holding bread up to the side of their face, throwing risotto back at.
A lot of it is like mental attacks.
Yeah. Well, and the chef can't fight until it gets so much int where it is capable of properly cooking scallops. But until it can properly cook scallops, it's just useless in battle.
Okay, we're never going to make this class. Just to be clear. But maybe. Unless. That could also be a mini game where everyone all of your heroes just fundamentally learn how to be chefs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a fan of cooking as like a thing in MMORPGs.
Yeah.
Like I think cooking is a really fun like skill.
I enjoy cooking in video games more than I enjoy cooking in real life.
Oh no, I don't cook in real life.
Yeah.
But I'll make some great stuff in World of Warcraft.
I think part of that is I'm just really bad at it.
Yeah.
Like I'll make you a really good sandwich. You're gonna be like, this is a good sandwich.
That's what you need.
But that's all I got.
My problem is like I'm actually not a terrible cook. I'm not a great one, but I'm not terrible. What I am bad at is using like less dishes to cook. So instead I fill the entire kitchen with dirty stuff, and I don't want to clean it. So I've given up cooking because I don't want to clean up after myself.
I think that's reasonable.
I only use paper plates, plastic fork. Like I'm not washing this stuff. It's going in the garbage.
You only use paper plates?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Your life, man. You're like an enigma wrapped in a rhyme.
Paper plates, plastic forks, cans of Mountain Dew, it all goes in the garbage. That's way too small for me to read. I am blind.
You need that many dishes for an air fryer.
Well, that's why I use the air fryer, because I don't need dishes if I use the air fryer. I don't even use my microwave anymore. It's great. Like I really thought about pulling my oven out and putting something else there to like have more counter space instead.
Really? I feel like you need that.
For what? What do I need my oven for? I don't do that. All right.
I'm scrolling up to make sure we didn't miss anything. Does anyone have any last minute questions? Because it seems like it might be.
Yeah, we got really off topic for a minute there, but it was enjoyable and I liked it. So
Classes, new best healer class.
you know what? I'm gonna open invite. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question, and we will actually bring you on stage to do it live.
This is bold.
Yeah, we're risking it all.
Matty P's chef could be a best healer class. Works for me because in Black Clover, Charmy, if anyone's familiar with that character, heals people with food. I think it could be interesting if it was done. We'd have to do a channel and delay type setup.
Yeah.
How sick would it be if you brought ingredients that were farmed into battle and you just start fucking cooking?
That would be pretty sick.
Like literally the first
like
skill's called let 'em cook.
I feel like you're selling yourself.
I am actually. This is starting to be. I'm gonna start thinking about it.
Oh, and they have to make the mushrooms for Berserker. There you go. There's another tie-in.
You could spice up. Yep. Thank you, Starbucks. I mean, Charmy. Okay. All right. You are all now responsible for me waking up at 2 a.m. tonight going, oh, what if we did? Oh, it could work if we. Yeah.
I think they're all right with that.
If you guys all let me design a fake chef class, I may just make a codex and just post it up.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. We got Luke Ethwalker up here with us. What's up,
hello.
Luke?
Ahoy. So I just wanted to ask about the Shapeshifter class because, I'm familiar with WoW, and I think kind of Shapeshifter, I think a druid turning into bears, owl beasts, whatnot, cats. And a lot of the Berserker design aesthetic seemed to revolve around the concept of like these warriors turning into these animals. And I was just wondering how the Shapeshifter is going to differentiate itself from that lore-wise, and if you have any ideas on the aesthetic or like kind of animals you could leak that it might shift into.
That's a wonderful question. Here, I'm just going to bring up the Shapeshifter skill codex.
Oh.
Nobody gets to look at it.
Oh.
Here we go. There we go. So Shifter, there are a couple of ways to play, and I think I've leaked somewhere that one of the paths, one of the disciplines is like a feral mode, and then there is what is beast mode is another one, which is fundamentally your beefcake. I think Shapeshifter, it's very important that it may have the three most distinct different play styles. A lot of the disciplines in skill codexes, I try to weave them so that you don't really necessarily have to go down one path. But because of how Shapeshifters like, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down of like, are you going to be a tank and be a giant bear? Are you going to be a boomkin? Right. And I think it could be one of those hard commit classes. In terms of like, do they turn into a bear? Do they turn into like a flying hawk and like do things? That remains to be seen. We actually originally, which this is not a thing. This did not happen. Originally, we were thinking about like, what if Shapeshifter shows up and you're presented with everybody's skills on the battlefield, and you just buy it right then and there, and then boom, that's your character. But that was not going to work. There was no way to balance that and make that actually happen. No. But in terms of Shapeshifter, there will be three very distinct vibes, which will make it feel less. I hear your concern about Berserker because there is sort of a similar thing there because of Bear, Wolf, and Boar, but they fit archetypes that are Berserker-y, whereas Shapeshifter I think will be further to the left, further to the right, and a little bit. Actually, yeah, I think they go a little bit more extreme. Hopefully, that answered your question.
Awesome. No, that was great. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, man.
I did want to note as we wait for the next person to hop up here that it's really nice to be able to just look over and see every skill codex for every class.
Yeah, it's really nice. Imagine just getting to do that.
I know, it's super cool.
Just randomly.
Yeah, y'all should y'all should really think about that.
Thanks, John.
Too much fun. All right, Matty P. Esquire. We're doing it the formal way.
Doing it the real way.
Matty.
It's pronounced Pesk. It's pronounced Presk, please.
Yes.
Is it for
yeah,
real? Do you want me to say
thank you.
Pesk?
I do. Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
You don't want me to call you Maddie or Maddie P?
Go Matt. Just say Maddie. You don't have to even say Pesk. Yeah.
Matthew?
Don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that.
What if you're in trouble?
Yeah, if I'm in trouble,
Matthew.
maybe. Thank you guys for doing this. This was awesome. All right, so I had this one up from like an old question a long time ago, but basically we've seen that there's ranged and melee and physical and magical. Are those the only damage distinctions, and does every attack or every skill get both of those distinctions?
Probably.
Okay.
And yes.
So I think the knight has an ability that says reduce all ranged damage. Would
Yes.
that be both physical and magical?
All range damage to be both physical and magical. It would just be not very good because he does like no magical resistance. But
right.
in general, yeah. If
All
it
right,
says
very
all,
cool.
it says all. That being said, all right now for Knight doesn't make a lot of sense. Knight is pretty much
It's
a
probably
physical
physical.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so that would be something wink winkers that would be patched out.
I see.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, thank you.
As in Maddie, you are a big part of this. When I watch your streams and I watch, Wowie and I watch Mythic and I watch everybody dissect the skill codexes. I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're getting incrementally more clear every time we get this stuff live. So those early ones like Knight and Archer and stuff, they are not nearly specific enough. And so we'll be releasing updated versions of those codexes where things like that are very clear. So that one, like reduce all damage, that it's going to be physical. But for now, yeah.
All right, then I'll continue to pore over everything that you write.
I watch and I listen, man. So every time you have a question where you're like, this doesn't make sense, I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure,
Very good. Thank you guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. See, I invited Ogre up. He hasn't accepted yet.
Oh man, that's what I look like. Look how shiny my forehead is.
While we wait for Ogre, it's Wowie himself.
Hey, boys, what's going on?
Hey,
So you're not allowed to ask your question yet. First, we need you to rate this AMA.
Oh, this is Wowie all the way. I just got done hyperventilating.
Now you can ask your question.
All right, I got a quick shorty for you. I'm not gonna try and wrench any super alpha. I want some background information because I'm super hyped about the Thief. All I've been thinking about is the Thief for the last 2 weeks, and I know you're a huge Konosuba fan.
oh yeah, huge.
How much reference is the Thief based off of Kazuma, or what other areas did you take influence from to create the Thief?
Well, there's at least one spell. It's a direct Konosuba reference. That is definitely a thing. I don't know if I think wow, you've picked it up a couple of times, but there's definitely like shit tons of references in all of these classes to just stuff I like. Like it is anime like everywhere.
There's also some Tryndamere in the Berserker.
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
like
Oh yeah.
yeah, like some of my favorite things to like I definitely try hard to sneak in games that I've loved for my entire life into this game, just because I think it makes better decision making.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the goofy things that I think Hubert likes to make fun of me the most about is I always want to talk about like, what's the motivation of this class? Okay, so like, where does he come from? How does he feel about like the gods and stuff? Like I do that super hard, and that allows me to tie in some of those anime references. And yep, Konosuba, there's at least one.
I love it, man. As a dungeon master, long time, I appreciate all of the world building you guys are doing. I seriously do. I can't wait
Thanks,
to see
man.
what comes out.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Wowie. Did you see the question from Starbuck?
Which move derives from your love for? I have a joke right now that I want to say. I will tell you another time.
All right. Ogre.
No way. Send the joke. Bring it, brother.
I have literally Wisdom's publicist right there, and I can't.
There it is.
Understandable.
Yeah, Hubert might not be here to protect Alpha, but Katie's here to watch what he says.
Katie's way scarier than Hubert. Just saying.
That is very true.
She scared me. I don't get scared easily. No.
So what's going on, Opie?
Nothing much. Made it home. Love all the energy that is still there going on. I'm super excited. We actually just kind of triggered me. Hey, let's look at kicking off Degens and Dragons or something like that one of these times. You mentioned you were a DM. We kind of breathe life into something similar again. I'd love to do that and work in the lore somehow. But yeah, other than that, my only real question is when Chef. I'll have a good
When how close are we to April Fool's Day?
Oh my God, that would be so
all right.
good.
If I can find time, which I won't, I'll try to draft up a chef for April Fool's. That'd be fun.
Dr. Zipper's out here dropping beef alpha. Stick to them with the pointy end.
That is in one of the descriptions. That's true.
Totally should. I mean, heck, you look at like the scholar, it's already almost got the smock. It wouldn't be that hard for somebody to like get in there and make a chef from the existing ones, I bet. Yeah. I say that not being able to do it at all myself, so it's real easy for me to say. It's simple to do.
Me neither.
Well, if you're able to rally the entire community to meme this into existence, I suppose it is possible.
Hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey, we got 81 people sitting here in Discord, plus another 35 on YouTube. I don't even know how many on Twitter. So yeah, come on, y'all. We probably got like 150 people out there. Somebody out there can do this. Let's have some fun.
Appreciate you, Ogre.
Thanks, Ogre.
Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
It was awesome to. Oh, well, I guess you can probably say it was awesome to meet you in real life too. That was really fun on Monday.
Yes, it was.
Dragon T is waving her arm. She also was happy to meet you.
So, yeah, that looks like it. Apparently, nobody else wants to ask you questions and try to dig alpha out of you. So I'm surprised, but we're rolling with it.
Am I going to be at Barcelona? I mean, you want to take me to Barcelona?
Yes. I don't know if I'll be in Barcelona, but yes, I do.
Currently, I don't have plans to go to Barcelona. Maybe I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. I'll be totally frank. There's a lot to do in this game, and it's hard not to feel the when PvP energy. And so trips are sometimes tough to do just because we just got to keep grinding.
Yeah.
And so I probably won't do a lot of traveling this year, but maybe next year.
I mean, this is the first time we let you out of the office.
That's true. I just went to a different part of the office.
Right. Yeah. Well, also valid. All right. One last question, because I like that one from Rebel Scum. If you were to go to Comic-Con, what would you dress up as?
Uther.
Uther. All right.
Uther. Although I guess I have long hair now, so I could dress up as something different. I've always been a huge Uther fan from the World of Warcraft universe, but I guess with my current look, I can maybe dress up as like Andrew WK or something. Yeah. Though it's not really. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all coming and listening to us talk for an hour and 5 minutes. Thank you, Workhorse/Ian/Pervy Sage, for doing the second AMA that you have done with us. It will most definitely not be the last, but really excited to have gotten to do this. Hopefully we answered a lot of really good questions, and actually we definitely answered a lot of really good questions, just hopefully we answered them satisfactorily. But really do appreciate you taking the time to do it. Appreciate y'all opening your arms and doors, literally doors, to let us into your spaces for a week, and it's just been awesome to be here and get to work with you in person.
Super easiest insta-lock. I appreciate you guys coming out and spending time. Dragon Teeth, thank you for making us sound cool. Katie, thank you for babysitting me. Hubert, thank you for putting up with my bullshit.
You got your stream.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody for tuning in.
Appreciate y'all. We'll see you in 3.5 hours, we have our AMA with Ethless. So tune in for that as well and submit some questions for it. Catch y'all later.
There it is.